The question is moved by Mr. Lewis Ng. Mr. Chris de Souza.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for allowing me to speak on this topic. I want to thank Mr. Lewis Ng for raising this motion, as I believe it to be particularly important. Singapore has long been renowned globally for being a city in the garden, and that status allows us to play our small part on the world stage. For example, Singapore played an instrumental role behind the scenes in the build-up to the signing of the Paris Agreement in 2015. In fact, Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan played a major role in that. This was recognized by then President of the United States, Barack Obama, when Prime Minister Lee made a state visit to Washington, D.C. in 2016. Furthermore, we are known for our efforts in promoting regional sustainability. In 2014, during the peak of the haze period, we passed the Transboundary Haze Pollution Act that allowed regulators to prosecute local and foreign companies that engaged in illegal forest burning that causes severe air pollution. So, in partnership with other countries in Southeast Asia, we can strive towards regional sustainability that protects not only our own forests, but the forests of surrounding countries. We can do our part, our small part, to arrest climate change. Mr. Speaker, Singapore as a global city is poised to play a critical role toward regional, urban, sustainable development through a more comprehensive ecological assets and biodiversity value framework. To realize this vision, we must think out of our island box when it comes to climate change, impact, and possibilities. Instead of approaching this as a dichotomy between conservation and development, we must become a biophilic country that views its forests as assets to not only protect, but to grow and invest in for its biodiversity value to our residents. On that note, I would like to have it stated on record that I believe HDB and MND have already started to embody this concept of biophilia that has led to reports like the environmental baseline studies, for which I am appreciative. Mr. Speaker, there are many other aspirations I have on this point, but I will speak more on this and other topics during my motion to preserve Dover Forest. The second point I want to make is about how we can continue to develop ground-up initiatives to cultivate a culture of biophilia. By this, I mean that sustainability should not be a conversation or creed, but sustainability by deed. It should be a fact of life. In everyday living, residents should be reducing, reusing, recycling, and even upcycling. In my ward, in 2019, we held a series of events at Old Holland neighborhood aimed at reducing the use of plastics, especially single-use plastics. All the residents were encouraged to bring their own water bottles, and no disposable cutlery was used at the event. There are many other avenues and initiatives aimed at reducing use of plastic. The Bring Your Own or BYO Singapore movement encourages consumers to bring their own reusable bottles and containers. Mr. Speaker, all these initiatives are in line with the vision of biophilia, and I would like to share how this has manifested in Ulu Pandan, which brings me to my third and last point. Mr. Speaker, Ulu Pandan is privileged to have much greenery within its surroundings that makes it appropriately placed to envision what a sustainability community can look like and support the wider national movement of sustainability. With Dover Forest, Clementi Forest, and the rail corridor all within the area, these ecological assets have produced great biodiversity value to Ulu Pandan residents, especially during the pandemic. During these past few months, when everyone had to work from home and stay indoors a lot more, many people felt a nature deficit for a prolonged period, which led to greater appreciation of our forests and our parks. I might note that when the news that Dover Forest might be developed to build BTO flats, I received many emails, dozens and dozens of emails, and Facebook messages and WhatsApps, and in conversation, person-to-person conversation at MPS from residents expressing their concern at the loss of the forest. So, following my discussions with MND, I am very happy that Minister Desmond Lee has extended the deadline for public feedback to the environmental-based study by a full 4 weeks. I'm very appreciative of that, and I will go into more detail in my motion. In fact, residents pointed out how they appreciated the privilege of being able to enjoy the forest alongside the various plant and animal species that reside in there. Residents even sent me pictures of migratory eagles, allegedly from Russia and Japan, who had sought shelter in Dover Forest during the wintry season. Mr. Speaker, my hope is to transform Ulu Pandan into a nature surplus neighborhood. As we intensify the use of our land to fit our growing population, it is similarly important to continue providing access to nature for our residents so as to counter a nature deficit. Let me give you an illustration. One aspiration I have for Ulu Pandan is to partner with NParks in building a nature trail from Holland Green Linear Park that will weave its way through the contours of Clementi Forest all the way to Clementi Road. This will not only create a link between the estates along 6th Avenue and Greenleaf to Sunset Way, but allow the residents in this area to have a convenient way into Clementi Forest. This is not the only ongoing partnership. We are working with SFA and HDB to explore the possibilities of urban farming sites. A commercial operator would run the farm, but allow the community to be a part of it as we revamp community gardens to include growing more edible vegetables and fruits through hydroponics. Furthermore, in partnership with NEA, we can introduce food composting to the community, and we plan to introduce that to Gimmo Market and Food Center. In conclusion, sir, even as we continue to develop and grow this country, let us advance the legacy of investing into the nature around us and encouraging sustainability as a fact of life so that we may do our part in domestic and regional urban sustainability. Thank you.